Hi, welcome. So I thought I had some time this morning. What is it? Thursday, November 13th. And I took the morning off because I had a meeting with somebody. And then I'm going to Qigong practice, which is, I've been wanting to carve out time to get it back into my practice. But I always felt a little guilty about taking off because it's the middle of the workday. What even is a work day? I'm trying to uncondition myself because the whole reason I switched careers is to not be locked into a 9 to 5, which was really like a 5 a.m. It was really 24/7. Let's be honest. So I'm starting to try to carve out chunks of time for self-care and practice that rejuvenates me, because I'm always telling my clients that whole thing about fill your cup first and self-care, being a body worker. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not doing it the best I could be doing it. So all that's to say, I have this extra time this morning before I go off to Qigong and do some of this. I don't know what we're gonna do. She switches it up each time. This woman who trained me in one of my levels of Qigong, she does it for free every freaking Thursday at noon and 4 p.m. for free, just because she loves it and wants to share it, the practice. So you just show up at this library and move a little bit with her, and it's beautiful. I love it. So I haven't been all year because this crazy year. Next year might be equally as crazy. I just had a meeting with my massage school that I trained at and that I've been TAing for, and I'll be going back down in January to be the lead TA for the first quarter because I could only commit to 1 month. So I'm really excited for that. It's all the stuff I've been doing, but then it's like double the size of class and students and other TAs to help delegate to, and just there's more to manage and stay on top of. So I'm excited for the challenge and excited to be gone for the big, a month of winter, Midwest winter. So that's all what's new in my zoo. And then I thought, well, since I have this chance to be here to do a reading instead of at my studio, I don't get to play with these babies as much. There's so many babies, two of which, one is the rainbow brain skull. It's so weird and wonderful. So I can't wait to read one from here. This overhead camera, I know I kept saying I was going to get a better quality. Maybe I'll ask Santa for one for Christmas. Yeah, I'm having coffee because I woke up at 3 a.m. Usually it's from the cat alarm going somewhere in the house, just so loud. But this morning, no, it was just I woke up at 2:45 and I was like, well, I guess I'm awake now. So I got up, had my coffee real early. So here we are, 7 hours later. I thought it's okay to have another cup. And I went to aqua aerobics. And we had 21 people in class. This class is growing leaps and bounds. It's so fun to have all of us women who are, gosh, I'm 48 and I think I might be one of the youngest, all the way up to 80. I think somebody was trying to figure out who the oldest is, and she's like, well, I'm 77 and I don't know anybody else who's old, but I think there might be a couple older. So I just love it so much because these women, man, when you get to your 40s and beyond, there's no set number. We're all different. You just don't give an F about what people think. And the people who still do are trying to figure out, they know that's, I swear I feel it. They know that's the one thing they wish they could just get rid of, and they're ready. They're ready. And so when you're around a bunch of women who are just this is me and I don't give an F what anybody thinks, and it's beautiful. It's finally. And to be around them is just so invigorating. And just the sharing. I love being just a female in my 40s. I'm glad in this lifetime I was put into a female body who chooses when she wants to express her femininity but doesn't feel beholden to the social norms. So I'm very happy with where I am in life, and there's a lot There's a lot more growing to do and shedding. So I'm really happy to be around women who inspire me day in and day out in that direction. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting flabby and I'm going to show it. And I'm going to show my wrinkles and I'm going to show my gray hair if and when I decide to grow it back out. And I'm going to not shave my legs. You know, that's so dumb. Like, why were we given body hair and then expected to shave it all off? Right? No, I want to stay warm too. It's not fair that only half the population gets to have warm legs. So dumb. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Oh, but hopefully you fast forwarded. Hopefully you go back in time and fast forward. So I do want to pull what? Let's pull a card from Rainbow Brain Skull. Let's get weird today. Ooh, sticky. There is more where that came from. How mysterious. Yeah, that quality is not good. Let's see if you get a better picture here. I love the artwork. It's so trippy, man. Number 6. Oh, this is another thing. Yeah, I'm that old. You can't have your cake and eat it too unless you have progressive lenses, and I don't. Okay. The cosmos are always evolving, and so are you. So much more is on the way. One day we will understand exactly what this era was all about and why it needed to happen. Oh, it's kind of like all that I just talked about. This era of this phase of life I'm in, and trying to just eke out every bit of it and try to be. I keep saying this, like the fullness of expression. Like I want to be the fullness of whatever this moment could be from here on out. Like there's no more life to waste. But this is saying the cosmos are always evolving, and so are you. So much more is on the way. So it's like we don't know the fullness. We can just feel into it every single moment, and it's going to keep growing. So much more is on the way. One day we will understand exactly what this era was all about and why it needed to happen. So I feel like there is more where that came from. So there's more coming. There's more to be harnessed in any moment. There's just so much fullness all around us to grab onto and incorporate into our lives. And yet we don't have to know what this moment means. That's what this says to me, is like we always, with our human brains, are trying to figure out when we're in the midst of something, like in the muck of it all, and we're trying to figure out what is this muck about? A muck. And it's like, no, in my life, I only can make meaning by looking back and going, oh, that's why I had to go through that. That makes so much more sense. Now, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have built up this whatever resilience. So whatever that is for you, this is saying, like, in the moment, just be, and don't try to figure it out. We have to go through things, and it's okay to go through them and be messy and icky and human. And then we look back and say, oh, that's what that was about. And maybe we look back and say, I could have maybe done that more gracefully, you know. But there's no shame in that, to look back and say, oh yeah, when this phase comes back around, I might tweak some things. But you don't necessarily have to. But I think the bigger message is like, don't worry about making meaning out of something in the moment you're going through something. I think about grief, because there's a lot of that, like in my universe of people going through different kinds of grief, and like the like, why did this happen, you know, in the moment. Like, no, just feel what you have to feel, and don't apologize for it to anybody, and don't try to live up to people's expectations of what phase you should be in, right? So that's a lesson for me too. I'm talking to myself more than anyone, of like, no apologies. we're all going through something, and it doesn't have to look the same, and we're not in the same stage of anything. Like, it's amazing that we can even speak to each other at all and connect. I've said that before, and it's like a miracle that we do. It's like a beautiful miracle because we're all so different and going through different things, and like integrating each and every experience among the, like, integration, it feels like, is part of this theme, this message also. So I got out the Muse cards. These are story cards. I said, let's get weird. I love the weird imagery that comes up sometimes with this. Oh, here we go. Oh, I haven't seen this one before. Well, let me just pull 3. I don't think I've seen that one either. Maybe. It's been a while since I've used these. I don't know if I've seen that one either. They're all new. And then the good thing about being 48 and like having worse short-term memory is like, these could be all new to me anyway because I forget everything. So I've probably seen these before, but it doesn't matter. Everything's new. Just doing a tech check. Okay. I haven't used this in a little while, so I had to make sure the microphone's on. So what do we have here? What story are we telling today? We have these little firefly bug people. Like, one's playing a mandolin and they're like on the boat, kind of like Venice, the gondolas, and like on where there's like a little player serenader to the people in the boat. But it's bugs, and it's like a paper hat ship. And I don't know what's going on in the background, but it's beautiful. And I wonder, this little bug has like antler type things going on. I don't know what that's all about. Who knows? And then this one is interesting to me. What's weird to me is how like these paper, like paper planes, paper hat. That's interesting to me because that is a weird coincidence. And then a maze that these people are working on trimming. And there's ladders going up certain parts of the maze, like as a shortcut perhaps to see over, like, where am I going? Which kind of fits the theme here of like, you don't have to know where you're going. There's just more to come. There's always more to come. There's more. And we don't have to, we just have to take care of where we are in this maze. Sure, we could go up the ladder and see over to like what's the best way through. But these people aren't concerned with that. They're just like, I'm just taking care of what's here right in front of me, where I am within this maze, knowing that if I keep it trimmed, I might catch glimpses of what's to come. You know, I'm not letting it grow up and get wild. I'm just tending to what's here in front of me. And then like, and this to me is about the same thing, like really enjoying the moment, really making the most of it, sharing love, giving joy to each other. So it's really in a moment. That's what comes to me with this. The paper airplanes coming in feel like, and then this paper hat, I'm fascinated because it might feel like something so, to me, when I think of it as whimsy, but I also think of it as not long lasting. I think of it as maybe incoming messages on the air that might be like to keep our antenna, like with these bugs, keep our antennas alert, or like antenna for incoming messages of intuition is what I think of, is if we're staying present in the moment. So that's what I think of that. And then this third one, this looks like a flying toaster. No, it's not quite a toaster. And it seems to be underwater, not necessarily flying. And yet there's a person walking, maybe right here into a cave. But then there's this explorer, like exploring the depths. And this person seems to be a monk because they're like in robes. So it almost seems like that monks are known for their presence and like putting high value in the present moment and becoming still. And this is like probing the depths of our own stillness to see what we might learn, what messages might we receive while we're enjoying the present moment and not worried about the future. And we can only reflect on the past from the present to make meaning. We can't make meaning in the present, so we're just here to enjoy the present moment to its fullest. So I really love how those three things built that message, and we're going to set those aside now and see if that has anything to do with today's reading. I'm going to tidy as I go. This is how I cook too. I just sort of like put things away as I go so the mess later isn't as big. What cards do we want to use? Hold on. Maybe these are really pretty. Maybe I'll pull a couple overalls from this. This, I haven't used them much. I got them in Seattle earlier this year. I maybe used them a handful of times. Let's see. What do we want to know about this? Like, what message are we supposed to hear from those paper airplanes coming in about being present enough to explore, tend to the present moment, and become still enough to explore our depths? We have the Two of Swords crossed by strength. I love that. Ooh, that was loud. Okay, so the Two of Swords definitely has a big feeling of intuition here. The person has their eyes covered, and it's like they're holding up almost like a shield to block out thoughts, because the swords are thoughts. That's how I want to read it today. That's what's coming to me. And they have this ocean, which represents their intuition behind them. So blocking out kind of the external stimuli and even this thought-making machine to say, no, I'm going to explore my depths to figure out my own answers. Because usually these twos are about weighing some options, weighing maybe a decision that's being made. So whatever that feels like to you, this is saying, yeah, it's all about tuning out everything else that is not of your own essence, of your own. The Strength card here is also, I think of it more like inner strength. So how are you, my curiosity is, where do you feel like you don't have it? Because it's in the challenge section. So it's obviously a part of you. You're here, you're alive. There's something in you that feels unbreakable, right? There's this part of you that no matter what happens to you, like that perception of things happening to us, that you won't be broken. You might be like weary, you might need some rest, especially if there's a lot of grief, a lot of tragedy, just a lot of negativity around you, a lot of pressing family matters or family health issues, whatever it is. But how much of that, like if you were to think about, I don't know if I have a breaking point. What does the word break mean? I have something in me that is forever strong. I keep going. Because why? We just do, don't we, as humans? And then when we don't, if we decide to check out, there's usually, like, from what I hear with people like on suicide hotlines and everything, and the people who have worked them, I have a couple people in my life who've worked them, it's like they say if you haven't made a plan, you're not at risk. Right? I don't know why I want to say that, but I keep thinking about like what breaking points. Well, the biggest one would be like, okay, I'm done. I'm checking out. I can't handle this life anymore. And what the people that I know in my life who've worked with suicide hotlines have said that they just want that like a lot of people want the connection, to know they're cared about, to know they're seen. That's why it's like reach out to those people. And most have not like started to make the plan yet, but once they have, that means like they're ultra serious about it, and it's like need extreme intervention. So I don't know why I'm saying that right now. I hope that's not anyone who's watching this is at that point, but I think that message is like, do you really feel like there's part of you that can actually break? I don't think we're made to break. I think we're made to forget that we have the strength in us, and we're made to remember that it's there. And it's like, this is here to say, where do you feel like it might get too hard, and how do you, like, where is that piece of you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is the deepest part of you that feels unbreakable? And examine that, because this is going into our depths. So maybe that's why I'm saying it, is because this idea of like, I'm done, sometimes has that feeling, just from my own personal experience, like day in, day out, is this feeling I feel right now going to last forever? If so, I don't think I can take it. Like, it's just too much. And that's putting our minds into a future state to say like we know how we're going to feel one day to the next, just because we've had maybe even 10 years of it in a row. We still really don't know what's next, what's coming. And this says there is more there where that came from, except that doesn't sound good when we're talking about depression, right? Or that feeling of like, oh, more of the same. No, there's always more. Like, there can be more to life, right? There can be, and there usually is. So how do we put aside the thoughts of like, oh, I just can't do it anymore? Or even if we don't want to go that extreme in this reading, because that feels really heavy, and I apologize, I feel for you if that's where you are in life, but there is more good stuff right around the corner. There always is. A new day is dawning. And this is like, the thoughts, the swords here, are what keep us in that state of like, right? It's all mind suffering. So this is asking us to block out that mind noise and tap into our own inner strength, whatever form that feels like to you. So part of me feels like, as an example, I want to question, like, my inner strength feels like, I don't know if I've contemplated this before. So I want to do it right now with you. Let's take a moment. So mine feels like, I'm already getting weepy. I feel like this real emotion here when I think about, I don't think I'm breakable. Maybe because I've been through hard stuff, but I know I haven't been through, if you want to, like, comparative suffering, which is so silly, but like, I know I haven't been through the hardest of the hard that people have to go through. But I feel like, at least at this point in my life, my inner strength comes from just like a deep, deep knowing of the light that exists in each and every person. No matter what dark things we've done, no matter what's happened to us, no matter what we've done to other people and feel deep regret about, I still feel like literally no matter what. And this doesn't come from the religious viewpoint of like, everyone is redeemable, if that's a word. And if that comes from religion, I honestly don't know, but I feel like there's some part of that there. But I do feel like there is a real light and a real beauty inside of each and every person. That's like the core of who we are. It's just all the other muck that dims it, that gets in the way, that makes us feel like we are way far away from that light. So I got really like, ooh, about that's a real truth for me. I don't think there's anyone, even when I think about my past traumas and my family's past, like, big stuff that happened in life, even when I have thought about one of the main people who really was, you might use the word kind of evil, and I've had to sit with this a while, but there's still a belief that even in that person, there's a light way in there that got dimmed at a real young age. And then we start to believe that we don't even have that light in us, right? But I think I draw strength from that, because no matter what happens, I feel like that's just a fundamental truth for me that says this whole life is about people. It's about love and connection and trying to ease each other's suffering. I think what came up in another reading is like, we're here to unburden each other, like to remove that muck for each other through forgiveness, through loving kindness, all the things, so that our light, we can help each other's light come back to the surface to really shine. Now, what does that light mean to you? Does it mean love? Does it mean creativity? Does it mean your fullest expression of being your authenticity? Like to be unsuppressed by ourselves and other people, to be unjudged, to not care if you are being judged, honestly, is what it's really about. To be unaffected by just the crappy stuff humans do because of their own suffering. So to me, that deep belief in all those things is like, fills me with such a strength and a sense of agency that I can work my way through anything. I almost wanted to say to overcome anything, but it's not overcoming. It's really like moving through, to move through, to keep moving through. Because overcome feels like I climb to the top of a mountain and I just stop. So I feel, but there's more where that came from. So I feel like this feeling of like, I can move through anything and not feel like I have to stop. I may want to take a break here and there, recover, rejuvenate, integrate those experiences into my own inner wisdom, and then figure out, okay, let's keep moving through. So, whoo-wee, that was some deep stuff for me, maybe not for you. And thanks for going there with me to like really feel into, where do you draw your inner strength? What is within you that would keep your fire alive, your faith in your ability to keep moving through? I don't even want to say humanity, because maybe humans aren't your thing and you're just like, I love pets. But sometimes it gets hard to care for all the pets, because the cruelty toward, like, animal cruelty is just so disheartening. Like, sometimes that might do me in. I don't know. I don't know. Like, to witness, because I can't take it. So if that's your thing and it gets hard those days where maybe you work in an animal shelter and you see like all these horrible things just coming to your doorstep, people abandoning pets, and I don't know, there's a lot of hard stuff right now. I was hearing about like a client of mine this week, because I go to her home once a week for a visit, and she was telling me how she saw like a car drive up and drop off some kittens on the side of the road and drive away. And she tried to get their license, but it was too late. And I was just like, what? There's an animal shelter half a mile from there. Like, how does that happen? So anyway, I just feel like maybe it's time this reading did come up about all this suffering that's happening, and it takes so many forms. It takes innumerable forms, inner suffering, what we see out in the world, all of that. And something says here, like, there's always more where that came from. So dig deep into like really questioning, examining, where do we draw strength? And that's that. Where do we go from here? Because I was looking around at my cards and seeing which ones we might want to use. Hold on, I'm going to push pause. Okay, I'm back. I want to use the Vintage Tattoo Tarot. I think that's what it's called, because it has these like really empowering type of images in them. At least that's what, like, a half a thought came to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, because inner strength and all, and like I started this whole video with talking about the strength that comes for a lot of us in our 40s and beyond, when we just loosen the shackles from our minds about what we care about, like where we've put value, like where we've placed value. I no longer place value on physical appearances like I did on myself, or expecting it of other people, if that was a thing. So that's like, this is all about like freedom of expression when you get tattoos, and these kind of embody that. I do have to say, I also checked my email in that moment because I'm waiting for something, and I have face recognition, and more often than not, just like now, it says face doesn't match. How rude. Your face doesn't match. It's not a message I like to see a lot, but I see it a lot. Face doesn't match. Doesn't match its expectations, I guess. So let's see, where are we going from here? Okay. We have 9 of coins. See, freedom of expression. I don't know if YouTube will like these pictures, but that's okay. I'm not going to flip them over today. They don't have to show my video. 9 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords. I love this. And the King of Swords. Look at that. We sure do have like this balance of grounded coin energy, pentacle energy, and swords of thoughts. But we have the Queen and the King. So like, I think of confidence in that expression. I also think of clarity that we've gained. And the 9 being this, the 9 reminds me of this picture here, where we're perfectly content with where we are doing our gardening, with where we are in that maze, tending to the present moment. Because that's what the 9 of Pentacles usually means to me. It's like I'm really content and satisfied with all that I see, and it brings the sense of gratitude. So I know that comes up a lot lately in readings, but that's what that 9 of Pentacles means. And then we have this like confirmation of a confidence gained in like mastery over our thoughts, or breaking those thought patterns that haven't been useful to us. The Page of Cups on the bottom. Look, I'm just going to pull that out as an overall. It's a fish with human legs. To me, this is a message. When I said there were incoming messages, part of me was thinking, I'm wondering if we'll get some pages showing up in this reading, because the pages are messengers. I don't know. I thought the airplane immediately made me think of pages. So here we are getting a message of a heart opening, or a new like emotional fulfillment coming in, whatever that means to you, where you're gaining enough clarity here. You're really seeing thoughts for what they are. You're seeing the ego for what it is. The ego, that word comes with a lot of baggage too, so I like to break it down. It's really just whatever we've collected in our lives and made the Play-Doh figurine to say, this is me. Here's my traumas. Here's the things I like. Here are my opinions. Here are my political views. Here's what I really don't like. Here's my pet peeves. Like, there's all these pieces of the Play-Doh figurine, but it's like, can you find that person within you? Might take a while, but go ahead and take your time. Might take years, but no, it doesn't exist. Spoiler alert. All we are is a meat bag of sensations. And then like I feel vibration. I hear it. I see light vibration. I feel sound vibration. Or like a big truck going by. I feel textures. Something is soothing about that. And it builds an emotion and thoughts and all these things that bubble up. We are just a collection of our sensations and thoughts. And where is the person? Where is the sense of me? When you say the word me, where do you feel it in your body? sometimes I feel it here. This week I've been feeling it here because I always do the who am I inquiry into like just trying to dissolve that sense of self, see through it, see it for what it is. And the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords kind of are giving me that vibe, especially, oh my God, she has that third eye. Dude, that's not a coincidence here. That's like deep clarity, deep knowing. And this King of Swords, look, he's like got this, like, these are all sort of feminine depictions, even of the traditional male characters. So he's got this, like, I think like that fullest expression kind of energy coming through on this one. What's interesting to me also, because this isn't always the case, the king has his swords crossed. We have the two of swords being crossed here. So it's like he is so confident. He's like, I don't need your opinions. Like, I am unaffected by the noise out there. I have my own inner clarity. The queen is like, I know myself deeply. I know I'm just I'm a collection of sensations that bubble and move through me, right? I don't have to like make meaning out of them. We talked about that in that card. Like, there's no meaning to be made in the moment. We just move through things. We let vibration move through us. And it's only suffering when we try to hold tight to that and like say, that hurts, or, oh, I don't like that feeling, I want to move away from it. Or we just don't take time to sit with it a lot of times and just realize it's just a sensation. Isn't it scary to realize there really is no you in you? There's no me in me. We're just this weird collection of conditionings. And we make stories. Like, I think about my life and all the phases I've gone through and places I've lived and like just things that have happened that have turned into my stories. I have like this little goodie bag of stories that help me like in social settings, and I can take my little bag of stories, my meat suit here, just walking through life saying, hey, you're a person, and we try to connect and we're telling each other about ourselves or asking each other questions. I can be like, yeah, that happened to me once. You want that one? But it doesn't mean it's me. It's just like a happening that happened in one moment. Yeah, but we take our little bag of goodies with us and say, this is me. All of that. But I can't see a me in there, and I can't really find all those things in my meat suit because this thing is just an antenna. We talked about the antenna. This is getting a little esoteric, but I love to go there. So anyway, this is what happens when I have too much time on my hands. You need to watch these on triple speed. I need to change my laundry over. So the Page of Cups, I think what this is really saying is like, by tending to the present moment, all of this is about really tuning out the outside world and really going to our depths to really inquire, where do I find my strength and resiliency? And this is saying there's this whole idea of like gratitude for where I am in this present moment, and really knowing thyself deeply and the fullest, like being you at all costs in your authenticity is really part of this story. What this leads to is this messenger comes in and says, and guess what? The love floweth, right? There's a heart expansion energy in all of this, because the heart contracts when this gets to the extreme, like the judgment really is what that is. But thoughts are useful. They get us like we have to do stuff in this relative world. But when we start identifying with our thoughts, the love does not flow with. So where do we go from here? I just want to leave these from this deck. I don't want to pull any more from that deck. You know what I want to do maybe is use our little, maybe I want to use our little owl cards. Let's clarify. These are tiny. I've used these a few times now. So I haven't seen all the artwork yet. We're getting some trippy stuff. We knew it was going to be trippy when we pulled out Rainbow Brain Skull. Even those words, I was like, what? Oh my God. I've been loving the phrases people say to me in treatment, like with my clients. Can I just tell you, every time I have a treatment with this client, I just love her so much. She is such a treat. And one time she said, when we go into treatment, and it's craniosacral, so it's a very peaceful kind of treatment. And when I first bring my hands to her, she sort of like goes into her own internal world, you know. And I'm like, oh, good. She's like finding some relaxation, like pretty quickly, but she's still talking and saying things in a very dreamy way until finally even that fades away and she's, you know, in her state. It's so beautiful. And one day, a few weeks back, did I already share this? She said, I started crying. I've never done this in treatment, but I was behind her head, holding her head, and she was still talking. And I don't think I've teared up before of like emotions that come through, or vibrations and energy and all of that just seems to move through me during treatments. And then, but this time, like, I'm like, oh God, you know, when you do that, dry your eyes. She said something like, I don't want anything to be perfect. She said something like that. She was just like, it feels like she's in this state of beauty in her last, like, later years of life. She's up there. And she was like, I don't want to have to be perfect. I don't want anything to have to be perfect anymore. And I was just like, stop it. I'm trying to give it treatment. And it was so beautiful. And then this week she said, again, got into that dreamy state and then was like, she was talking about hammocks, like how she missed just being in a hammock. And she said, I just want to lie in a hammock. She said hammock, which I loved. I just want to lie in a hammock and let the birds, and it trailed off, and I thought she was going to say, sing to me. And then she said, and let the birds poop all over me. I was dead. This time I was at her feet holding and to assess the craniosacral rhythm. And I was like, oh no, I think injecting vibration. I'm trying not to laugh because it was so beautiful and sweet and hilarious, and I was dead. I was just dead and gone when she said, and let the birds poop all over me. But it was beautiful, and I'm crying because it was like that, the simplicity of, like, she was talking about being a Girl Scout and sleeping under the stars in a hammock way back when, probably in the 40s or so, when that was, no, it would have been even earlier than that, I would think. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, probably in the 40s. And I was just like, why am I telling you that? How did that come up? I think I'm trying to connect back the dots, but like when I think about just this, like letting thought, because she's a highly, like, very intelligent, very smart, loves her brain, loves to be curious, loves to like tease things apart and understand them, very like educated and scientific minded and all of that. And then the more and more I work with her, not that I have anything to do with this, but I'm just in contact with her more, and I get to hear more of these thoughts of hers as she goes into the twilight phase of treatment. And it's all about lately, like, letting go of thought and relishing those visceral, like, felt experiences. And I'm just like, Like, what even is perfection? It's just an expectation that something has to be a certain way. And it's like this phase of life of letting go of expectation for anything, that it has to be anything other than what it is. And I feel like I say that all the time, but it's like that is the message here as well. It's like, how do we just tend to the present moment and really get back to enjoying those sweet things in life? That, yeah, let the birds poop on me and then I get to go take a shower and laugh. Like, why do things have to be like shielded? Why do we have to shield ourselves from like those moments, those brushes with nature? You know, like the raw stuff of life. Like I said recently, I just want the rawness, you know? And I feel like it's very close. Like I said in another reading, like these things are so close now. I feel it. I think that's why they keep coming back around, these ideas. So anyway, let's pull some clarifications. I kind of want to know more about this spread here and get some more nuance. We have the Ace of Cups. That's funny with the pages. I often think those go hand in hand. I was having a hot flash. Probably I worked myself into a tizzy. We have the King of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. So right here we have, this is a clarification, so I'm going to read the middle card. We have the King of Pentacles, which to me is like the ultimate expression of where we go from the Nine of Pentacles. This idea of like, I'm perfectly content where I am and I have so much gratitude for all that life has given me, and I'm cherishing it, and I'm sitting here enjoying it. I've dropped the ideas of where I've got to go. And yet you might feel like that's a great place to stay for a while. And then this is saying, yet there is always more where that came from. So what could be even a fuller expression of that gratitude, right? Could it finally be you move out of your garden and you start to give those gifts to other people? Give of yourself, whatever comes naturally to you, that you could just give and give and give without feeling depleted. That seems to be another theme this week, because those are the miracles we give each other. It doesn't deplete me, so I might as well just give it away. And to give is to like feel refueled and refilled by the giving, if it's something that doesn't deplete you. And I feel like when people say like, we all have natural gifts, like, what are your gifts? And it does, like, we immediately think like, well, I'm not a painter and I'm not a singer, and like I don't have those are just skills. They're not gifts, right? Like you can develop a skill, but what are the things in you that you feel like they're not tangible, they're not like objects, but what is it in you that you could give and give and give and never feel depleted? Is it empathy? Or is that kind of hard? And that's okay. That might feel depleted until there's something to work on there. That's fine. Is it like well wishes? Are you good at praying for people? Praying doesn't have to mean like religious. Are you good at like wishing people well? Are you good at sitting with people in their hard times? Are you good at giving compliments? Are you good at doing kind acts for people? Like you could just do these things, one of these things forever and ever and ever, never depletes you. You never expect anything in return. Like, what is it? Do you like making origami and giving it to people because it lights up their face? Like what? It could be anything. It could be anything. And yet it doesn't have to cost anything. Maybe the origami costs paper, but you know, that's not so much. So I don't know why origami came. So I think that's where we're going with this. Moving to the King is like, there is always more where that came from. So yeah, stay in your garden for a while and like cocoon yourself and really be grateful for what you have. And then even that too shall pass. Like you move through that and say like, I'm ready to share this. Like I've worked on the self-love part of me that needs care, like the self-tenderness, and like, what is it that you need for yourself? Fill your cup first. And then the King says, and now share it freely. And you have that inner strength, that confidence that knows like you don't have to hold back. You can keep sharing because there's no end to that energy. And that's a natural gift. You don't keep giving something that feels hard. At the end of the day, you feel wiped. No, it's got to be something that feels like it just can keep flowing, right? And that's different for each of us, as it should be, or else we'd have all of the same stuff being given, and then we'd be in need of these other things. So, and then on either side, we have the Ace of Cups and the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is like this feeling of holding tight to something. It almost feels like withholding energy, which I think we've talked about recently, like this idea of like, I'm withholding, I'm not free giving. So it's like usually with a clarification, there's like a balance of energies here that the middle one is calling for. So be a little on the watch out for like, where do you feel like you're still holding back or holding tight to something? It's something to be examined. That's all it is. Like your source of security, like, oh, I can't give this up because like, what might happen? And it's like, well, where's the inner strength as it relates to that thing? So it's like, if I give up my time, I can't give up my time. I need it. And it's like, okay, well, how much do you need for yourself right now? Knowing that too can change. It's not a forever thing. So even call into question, like, well, I only feel my inner strength if I allow myself like 24 hours in a row to myself. I don't know what it is. You have to figure that out for yourself. But what is it that you feel like you might be withholding from people or yourself? There's this idea of like clutching tightly to something to like, I'm not ready to give that up or give it freely. That's just something to be looked at. To me, I think mine has to do with, and it's all in my mind because I like to share examples. If you want to come on this trip with me, it just makes it more tangible for me. I don't like to talk in like not like tangible examples. I don't know. I just feel like it carves out time for us to explore this together. So mine would be probably like some element of time, but I know it's all in my mind because if I just am out there giving my time, it feels rejuvenating. I enjoy it, but I still have some weird part of me that says, ooh, I get a whole weekend alone at home to do my crafts and explore whatever I want to explore. And so it's like, maybe it's just feeling like I need some balance, and I maybe haven't figured out exactly what a good balance is yet. I'm feeling it out day by day, but there's still something in my mind that says, oh yay, a whole Saturday, all mine. And yet when I don't have it, it ends up totally fine and lovely and it's beautiful. But there's still something in me that's like, I want it. It's my precious, time. So I'm still exploring that lifelong journey. And then Ace of Cups is like this. To me, it feels like the start of what was promised by the Page of Cups, the message that a heart opening is coming, some form of emotional fulfillment is coming through this journey of where we explore, where do I get my inner strength? How can I tend to the present moment more faithfully, I want to say, or more consistently, more authentically is what I meant by faithfully. Like, I know, like really dropping into the here and now and trying to not even think about tomorrow. And sometimes that's hard, or not even have expectations about what this present moment should be like. Just drop in and be like, what's here? What am I really grateful for? And so this Ace of Cups is saying this is the first step, really the start of that opening through this process of exploration. But it does take questioning, like, where do I feel like I'm holding on a little tight? Because these gifts that we give, they're free flowing. We give them freely. So it's like, if we're still holding tight, to me, there's paradox in everything. So the thing we hold tightest to might actually be related to what is easy for us to give. Like I just answered my own question with time. Part of me still feels like it's so precious. And yet when I give it freely, it feels like I could do it forever and not get tired. Meaning show up for people. Like my time, like, oh, you need this you need me somewhere this Saturday that I had said, yay, I get to be at home. And then I go do the thing and it's totally great, but there's that still moment where I'm like, no, it's mine. So that's my exploration. But what might it be for you? What do you hold tight to? Do you hold tight to like expectations of loved ones? Like they need to be a certain role for you in your life. And if they don't fulfill that, then all hell breaks loose, or you get very judgy, or, like you expect so much of someone. And if they don't behave that way, then it's like you feel butthurt about it or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But we've gone really long. I'll take responsibility. And I still want to go a little longer. That's just how it is. You can fast forward. You don't have to watch this. Because I have a little bit more time to wrap this up. And I don't want to repeat a lot because you know where we've been. And now by this point, you're probably on your own journey. I don't know if I want more tarot cards. Let's just end with, maybe we'll do an oracle reading. Hold on, I'm going to push pause so you don't have to be bored. I meant to say so you don't have to be bored while I search for the right oracle deck that feels right for this moment. And I chose soul coaching because I feel like we are our own coach. We are our own mentor and mentee. We are all the roles for ourselves, right? Other people play a part, but in this moment of tuning out the outside so you can explore your depths, you are also your own coach. So read into this message what you like. We'll see if it's even remotely related. All right. I don't think I've pulled many of these either. They're pretty stickers still. I'm going to do one more semi-shuffle. All right. So what message for us today? Okay. Delight. Oh, look, is that a maypole? Okay, you guys, I really want to do this. I'm watching Call the Midwife. Oh, all the feels. It's exactly what I wanted. It has 14 seasons. It might get me through winter. And every episode is so heartwarming, heart-wrenching, and heartwarming. Don't the two go hand in hand? And I'm in that phase of life where I just want my heart to freaking burst open every day. And like, it's funny that the Page and Ace of Cups are here because that's what that's all about. And so they had an episode on Call the Midwife because it's set in like the 50s at first, and they have these kids doing streamers around a pole, and I'm like, is that a maypole? Is that what that is? I have no idea. I'm from the 70s, and I think we stopped doing that. I don't know. But look, there's flowers, and there's all these people doing a rope, like twisting a rope around this thing, and it says delight. I feel like this is like that delighting in the present moment. I'm getting all the chills. You guys, let's do a maypole. I gotta put this on my calendar for like March to start thinking about how and where to do this. Maybe we can set up one. I even have to research like why were they done? What's it all about? But it feels like a beautiful celebration kind of energy. I want to do it. Okay. Card meaning. Clap your hands with joy and let your inner child play. Be silly or play hooky and take a day off. This I started talking about carving out time. This isn't the time to buckle down and get to work. This is when you should be madcap and spontaneous. Have fun. Madcap. I love Call the Midwife because of all the British accents and the way they spoke in the 50s. And so I will be saying weird stuff and my husband will be like, I'm like, you know how when you are so immersed in like a series or a book or something, or you've gone to another culture and you adopt their accent for a while unexpectedly. And so that's what I feel like is happening to me. I say these weird little Britishisms. Madcap. Your soul wants you to know your spirit guardians are delighted when you're filled with childlike wonder, joy, and exuberance. When just one person experiences true delight, this joyous energy radiates outward like ripples in a pool, reaching even the farthest shores of humanity. Your pleasure can rejuvenate you and can have a powerful healing effect on others. This is an affirmation. It says, I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. Dudes, that is the epitome of the Nine of Pentacles card. I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. And the aces with the cups, this cups are like joy energy, emotion, just like heart energy. And divine is what we say with the aces, because it's like a divine gift. And so, like, how perfect is that? I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. So yeah, I'd say that was related. And I do think we should do a May poll. I'll get back to you on that. I'm going to put on my calendar. I'm going to start researching. I'm going to actually, by research, I mean, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to tell me what it's all about in the history of it all. Because, you know, I'm lazy like that. I really like the way ChatGPT can collate information, and then I can read into it what I want, or tell ChatGPT I think it's wrong. Is there like a cobweb or something flew down on my face? So anyway, thank you for being here. Thanks for riding this one out. It's a whole hour long. Didn't need to be, but thanks for being here, for all the storytelling, and for really feeling into those moments of like inner exploration, because I feel like the more I do this, that's more where I like to go with these things. And so maybe I should just preface it with like fast, every time you see one that's over 10 minutes, just double speed it. I don't know. You do you. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and thanks for being here for this. Bye.